Good morning, friends. Welcome to today's tutorial. I'm your friend Victor. Today I'll be showing you how to set up SRT feed using through Vmix using Dhcp1 IP addresses. What I mean is that getting public IP addresses is expensive, and most of us in my part of the world we use mobile routers, 4G LTE routers. So if you have a production and you have to send feed to a remote location from where you are, you can only do that using 4G LTE routers. I'm going to show you how to set up that feed using Vmix. This tutorial will be broken down into sections. For this video, I'll be teaching you that of Vmix. I'll post another video on how to use OBS, and there will be a follow-up video to that on how to use Wirecast if you're still using the Wirecast media production software. So let's get into it. Now, before setting up your SRT feed, you need to learn the information you need on ground. Number one, you need your local IP address. That's the IP address of the system you're using. Two, you need the IP address of your internet or your WAN, that's your wide area network, your public IP address. How do you do that? Let's start. Then you need your port number, the port on which you want to transmit that feed. So how do you get your IP addresses? Number one, your local IP address. Let's get to that. How I usually do mine is that I open a folder, any folder. I just scroll down to my navigation bar. I right click on my network. I go to properties. Here I have, I'm using Airtel. I click on it and details, and this is it. This is, I have 192.168.1.109. That is the local IP address of my computer. Now to get the public IP address of my computer, just open up the browser. Go to speed.net, and under Airtel you see this is the public IP address. Now, to make sure that your public IP address works, there are things you need to take into consideration. You make sure that this IP address is reachable from your remote location. So I have a remote computer, which is this, and I'm going to try to ping the Airtel router from this particular computer. Let me see. Going to ping it, and hopefully it's reachable. Actually, since I'm the sending computer, the one sending the feed, it's not necessary that my computer should be reachable, but make sure that one of the two computers are reachable. 113.40. See, so from here you can see it's not reachable. The primary computer that is sending the feed is not reachable. So let's reverse the connection, in that I'm going to check what the IP address, public IP address. I'm using SpectraNet on this computer, so I'm going to use speedtest.net, and here we have a public IP address of this particular computer. We'll switch over to the primary computer, and we're going to run a ping test and see if that particular remote computer is reachable. And let's do the ping test. One 7 8 142 140. So we can see that the remote computer is reachable, is responding. So at least one of the computer is reachable. That means we are good to go. Now on your secondary computer, I have Vmix running already. So I'm going to this is the Vmix running already. I have inputs here. For those of us who have been using Vmix for some time, I have an input running here. some input, up to 5 inputs. Now on your primary computer, the computer you want to use to send the feed, you go to settings, you go to output stroke NDI stroke SRT. Now depending on the output you want to send, for instance, I want to send output 1, but I'll show you how to send multiple outputs. Here I have 4 outputs, but my output 1 is what I want to send to my remote location. I'm going to come to this cog wheel here, click on it. By default this will be disabled, and this will enable SRT. You are the one sending, so you can select caller or listener. You have the listener option, but you're going to be the caller. Why I'm saying you're going to be the caller, because the primary, remember in our previous test that we did, the primary one IP, public IP of the primary computer was not reachable. So we are going to make that computer the caller. So it's going to be the one to push out the feed. So the IP address we have is 41.127.8.142. Okay, it's correct. Now remember, initially I said before you start, make sure that you have your LAN IP address, your WAN IP address, that's your public IP address, and the port. So on the port option, we have 17,000 here. That's what I'll be using. So once this is set up, I click on OK. And that's it. That's just all from the primary side. Whatever is on the primary part is what we'll be going at, and we are going to confirm that. Now we switch over to our secondary system. On our secondary system, where we just finished doing our quick test, we're going to close this, going to set up Vmix. Going to give it a little time for it to come up. Now, while the Vmix is coming up, we too here we are going to do the same. Remember, we've gotten our WAN IP. Next, we need to check for our LAN. Just as we did on the primary system, open any folder, scroll down, come to network, your navigation bar, go to properties, and then click on the network and details. Here the IP address is 192.168.10.53. Once you get this, you go to your router, because you're going to be the receiving part. You go into your router. I'm using a Spectral Range router, and my interface will be different from you. You have to do port forwarding on your router. For some of the routers, you get the option of port forwarding. For other routers, they come in as a we call it a virtual server. On my system here, it is called virtual server, not port forwarding. So here you can see the virtual server. You come to your virtual server. I've already set up a connection, but let's create more. So I have SRT. I'm going to name this SRT 1. I'm going to add another one. Remember our primary system. If you go back to our primary system here, on the setting, here on the setting, the port that is being used is port 17,000. Coming over to our remote system here, you can see that the one port is 17,000. The IP address, that's the local IP address here, is 10.53. So here you can see you have 10.53 already and have 17,000. Now it's using a UDP protocol. So you use your UDP. Here it enables you to use both. You turn it on. Click on OK. Now it's saying that this port is already in use, because you can see is the port here is already in use. So I'm going to change this to 18,000, and I'm going to give you a reason why. I'm going to give you a reason why we're using this at 8, because this port is already in use on this SRT, a name called SRT. You can't use it again for another feed. If you want to use it, you have to disable this first port. So I'm going to click OK. I'm going to add another one. I'm going to make it SRT2. I'm going to take this as 19,000. I'm going to come here, 19,000. So what's happening here is that, click on OK. This port, just as I said earlier, you can't transmit multiple feeds, in that you cannot make it going out and coming in at the same time on a particular port. So you have to choose one port to go in, another port to come out. Now remember at the primary, when I was setting up the primary, I said in your output here, this output, what I'm going to do is that this output is going to go out through 18,000. This output, I'm going to set it up, is going to go out on, this is going to be 18,000, and I'm going to put the IP address coming. Here we are using 17,000 already. Okay, I'm going to come here. I'm going to put the same IP address. I'm going to make this 18,000. Here, the same. I'm going to make this 19,000. Make sure you enable your SRT, or make sure the SRT is enabled, and I click on OK. This video is on output 1. Let's come down here. I'm going to assign output 4. Output 4, I'm going to assign it to input 4. I'm going to assign output 3 to input 5. And let's see how that will work. Switch over to our remote system. We'll set up our port forwarding protocols here. I'll apply. Click on OK. Success. That means port forwarding is successful. I come to my Vmix. Here, remember at the primary computer sending the feed, I had the option of being a caller. So here I'm going to be a listener. I'm going to come to listener. All I need to do, I'll just say port 17,000. Let me put this as 500. Click on OK. I should be able to receive a feed from my primary computer, and that's the feed is up. Let's go again. Let's take it up a notch. Remember, we set up a feed for port 18. I'm the listener. 18,000. Let's see, 18,000. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. That's the video for 18,000. So because of latency purposes, that's why we are seeing those glitches. Now we're going to go 19,000. Adding 19,000. Yeah, 19,000. Click OK. So we'll give it a little time. Waiting for it. Let's go back to our primary computer and make sure that everything is properly set up there. Oh, and that's it. That's it. It's up. So we have This is the feed from port 18,000. This is the feed from port 19,000. This is a port feed for port 19,000. So when you have issues like this, issue of glitches, all you need to do is that go to our primary computer. You go to your settings. You have to make sure you have enough bandwidth. You go to your SRT feeds here. Let's take this. Oh, this 200. Let me make it 1000. Although that's too much, but for the purpose of this tutorial, let's make this 1500 and click OK. So the video should stabilize because it's going to make sure that the latency issue is resolved. So while I'm waiting for the primary system, let's switch over to our remote system and see if there's any change. Okay, so it's better now. I see the feed are smoother. This feed are smoother. So that's just all it takes. You make adjustments to your latency number. You should have a smooth reception.